I put my resupply together in the pizza cookie place. My pack was so tall. I started up the road to the trail. I got pretty far before I realized there was no water on trail for a long time. I had to walk all the way back to the visitor center. I filled my bottles in the bathroom and filled up my podcasts with the Wi-Fi, and now I could get going. I set off on the Oracle Ridge Trail. It was slow going because of all the rocks. I stopped at a dirt road where it was flat. I looked at what is coming up. I had thought to have a nice 0 day in Oracle, but there's a place called Hijinks Ranch that sounds interesting coming up. I could be there tomorrow. My campsite was windy and cold. Fine dust coated a lot of my things in the morning. I got up as soon as my 5 a.m. alarm went off, happy to get out of there. I slept right there, and it was windy and cold. There's the towers I saw from the other side yesterday, and Summerhaven is kind of right behind that saddle right there. It's hard to see this early in the morning, but where's my finger? That white stuff down there, that's Biosphere 2. I've been there, it's pretty cool. If you can ever go and get the tour, it's really cool. The trail was difficult. The general trend was down, but there were ups, and all of it was steep and very rocky. I made slow progress, slipping and twisting on the ankle-breaker rocks. Somewhere around 11 a.m., I reached a tank with a trough of green water, and the trail became easier to walk on. I stopped at Hijinks Ranch to get water. Nice, clean, and clear, and good tasting. There was a hiker box, and I found some sunscreen, which I used to refill my small bottle, forcing my bottle to suck up sunscreen in tiny bits. I scored some sunscreen out of the hiker box there. Refilled my little bottle of it. It was almost out. And 8.5 miles away from a highway that could take me to Oracle. I'm debating if I would like to go there and have the the Nero day that I didn't get in Summerhaven. I'll see what I think when I get there. I feel fine, like my spirits feel fine, and I feel like I should be strong enough for all this. But that Mount Micah and then Mount Lemon after it kind of really wore me out. And then the rocky downhill, steep downhill today, I just feel my legs feel kind of sore. So a little rest would do me good and buy me some time before I get to Kearny. As the day wore on, I felt worn out by the gradual climbs and undulating ins and outs of the trail. I really just wanted to rest. Micah and Lemon had taken a lot out of me. Summerhaven hadn't been a rest at all. When I got to Highway 77, I stuck out my thumb and got a ride to a bar that had burgers and cold IPA. It felt good to sit down and eat. I tried to charge my battery from an outlet hanging from the ceiling. I thought about what to do next. I got a room at the El Rancho Robles Inn. I found the camping area out back, and Chuckles, Blink, and Hippie were there with their tents. We went out to dinner at a Mexican restaurant. I had a really satisfying sleep in my hotel room. In the morning I could feel all the parts of me that were sore: my knee, my calves, the bottom of my feet. I think it was the night before I climbed Mount Lemon. I had a dream of, I was walking along and I found a dying baby bird. Kind of looked like the picture of the dead rodent I took, and it was all downy and white, and I picked it up and it was warm and soft, and so I started kissing it, and it turned green and turned into my 30-year-old parrot Fergie, who last I heard she was having a stroke, and I keep thinking about how maybe she's dead and Tony's not telling me about it, because that happened when I hiked the Pacific Crest Trail. My little bird Squeaky died and he didn't tell me about it until I finished the trail because he didn't want me to quit. And so maybe Squeaky was talking to me, or Fergie was talking to me from the beyond. And if not, and she's still okay, I miss my little birds. I love my little birds. The trail was pretty easy walking, gentle rolling ins and outs of small washes. I came around a bend and exclaimed out loud something to the effect of, "Holy shit!" I was in the thickest teddy bear cholla cactus forest I had ever seen. Just then Blink came up behind me and said he couldn't believe this was Arizona. It was too cold. I said, "Look at these cactus. Of course this is Arizona." He went ahead of me and quickly was so far ahead it seemed like I probably wouldn't see him again until Kearny. On and on I wound through the hills. It started to rain, not enough to worry about rain gear. It was so cold I wore all my wind layers and wore my fleece like a headscarf. Well, that's the Mountain View tank. That's the one I've seen in videos where people have to use a bottle attached, like taped to a stick, or throw a bottle down and try to hope you can scoop water in, because it's always so empty, but it was full. So it's a good year to be doing this, even though it's freezing ass cold. Anyway, the next good water is 7 miles away, but I think I'm probably only going to go 4 more miles or so, 4 or 5. There's a big giant wash coming up in about 4.2 miles, and I've noticed that the washes sometimes have trees and sheltered places, soft places to sleep, so that's my goal now. Look at this amazing cactus garden. As I hiked on, the dirt turned rust red and the cactus garden became amazing. I took a lot of pictures. Then the wildflowers became abundant. I would turn a corner and everything would be purple. Turn another and all was yellow. Then white, pink, purple again. The cactus all seemed green and happy. It was wonderful. I slowly wound down to a large wash with tire tracks in it. I had planned to camp by the wash because I had noticed there are often good tent sites on the banks, sometimes even with trees to shelter you. I found a little nook surrounded by lupin. I set up my bivvy, ate dinner, and called it a day. The hike was pretty boring. It was very green for the desert, but there were fewer wildflowers and views. It was easy going, though. It was home to many birds and bunnies, so obviously this is a happy home for many creatures. I really want to make sure the gate closes. Pretty silly. There was no shade today. There were few clouds, just contrails that became an overcast. The highlight of the day was the side trip to a stock pond. What a lovely little lake oasis. At 5:30 I decided to call it a day, a half a mile from water near a little wash. I think I'm near a bird nest with an angry mama bird. I have 11.4 miles to where I can hitch to Kearny.